Hey everybody, it's Bobby and Michael. I'm sitting in with Michael tonight. He needed a little help with bunnies. You might have to pull that down a tad. There we go. Okay, so just a couple things. We want to welcome you and thank you for watching Michael's little talk show about bunnies. We really appreciate it. We would just like to know how your week went, if you have any questions, anything about his last show on bonding. If you still have any questions, you're more than welcome to ask about that. We also want to remind you to like and follow our Facebook page. We've set a goal of 70,000 by the end of the year, and we're already over 60. So with your help, I think we can get there for sure. The other thing is our guides. I want to keep reminding everyone at the top of our Facebook page, if you go, what's it like, home?
It's three tabs over.
Yeah. And then there's one that says guides. And if you click on that, it has a whole bunch of good information. One, if you find a wild bunny, what to do. It has our membership to join or to renew. It just has a lot of stuff. Hey, Gloria, good to see you. Thanks for watching. The other thing I want to say, if you miss our show live, if you go to the bottom of our Facebook page on the left-hand side, you'll see a little square that has series. Click on that, and that has all of Michael's shows and my shows on there in a row on how they were presented. And then just a reminder that our times have changed. Michael's show will be at 5:30 and my show will be at 6. That's because we're so busy at our shelter right now that we are needed out there. So that's why we're having to do them earlier. So I'm going to turn it over to Michael.
We have a question real quick.
Oh, we got a question. Oh, one other thing. Please tell us where you're watching from. We love to see where you're watching from. Michael and I both have had Indonesia, Chile, in the UK. We've had places I can't even pronounce. So please tell us where you're from when you shout hello to us. So here you go, Michael.
Okay. Should I go over the question first?
Yeah, go over the question.
Okay, so my Nita says, hi, I have a question. I'm moving into a new apartment with hardwood floors. What should I do to make my bunnies more comfortable with the flooring?
You've had them for 3 years.
Yeah.
Have they ever been on a solid floor, slippery floor, kitchen floor, anything? If not, some bunnies take to it fine. Do your bunnies walk good on?
They don't really go on the hardwood floor, but when they have gone in there, they just slip and
Yeah, I've had both kinds. I've had some that they have no problem on the floor. I have one right now that cannot walk on a floor, slippery floor. So I lay runner rugs so they can come out of their room and through the house. Yes, mine are spoiled rotten. What do you do for yours?
I just put any floor, like cotton sheets or anything down, or the drop cloths all over, or just cotton rugs that we can put on there to give them traction.
Only a few years on hardwood floors.
Only a year.
Oh, a year.
Yeah.
Okay. I would just go with it, see how they do. If they don't do well, you can just, a lot of people put a comforter on the ground too and make their primary living space on a comforter. Just see how it goes. Yeah. Accommodate them, see what they think about it and go from there.
Yeah, and there's another question about a Chihuahua, so you have experience with that.
I have experience with Chihuahuas. My friend has a rabbit, and it just recently started attacking his Chihuahua. The Chihuahua just cries and runs away, but he wants to know why she would. Okay. Is the bunny spayed or neutered. That's the first thing, because usually bunnies will chase a cat and a dog and try to mount them if they're not fixed or nip them. So find that out for me first, because that would be the first thing I would think about. And then if that's not it, let me know and we'll go from there. But I'm assuming that's probably what it is.
Yeah. There's not really anything else that they just started doing that.
Yeah, to suddenly do it, the Chihuahua would have had to do something to the bunny, but I can't imagine something that terrible and you not know about it. So I would definitely see if that bunny is fixed. I'm betting that's the problem.
Yeah. Okay. I see another question, but we're going to get to that in a second because we have some Rex bunnies that we're going to show, and we can talk about that question. But first, we have some Dutch rabbits right here. It's a pair. Well, one's back here behind the other one.
You can kind of see it.
Yeah,
They're so cute.
Yeah, they came in with another Dutch pair. This is Chocolate, and this is Chip.
Look how well behaved these bunnies are.
Yes, they are very calm. And when they're out and just in an area where they can run, they're very playful and they just run around and they're fun to play with. But the reason I wanted to show them is because of how distinctive they are. A lot of Dutches come in different mixes and their colors aren't exactly like this, but this is what usually we think about when we see a Dutch rabbit or think of a Dutch rabbit. Right here they have like a middle marking that's usually white, and then they have a darker color around their eyes. Then they have a middle part that's white, you can see that, and this back part is usually the same color as their head.
Now, my favorite bunny breed is the Dutch bunny. I love them. Michael knows it's my weakness, especially the black and white Dutch bunnies. They do really well.
Yeah, I also have a Dutch bunny. He is a brown agouti mix Dutch bunny, and he is the friendliest out of my bunnies.
I think they're just cute
they're,
personalities.
they're really good.
Sorry, I'm getting fur.
They're usually about this size. I have seen rather large Dutches, but usually they're mixed with something else to be that big. Normally, Dutches will just be about 5-6 pounds.
And some are a little tiny.
Yeah,
it
some
just
are,
depends. Mine that I have right now is, I think, maybe 4.
Yeah, mine's only 4.5 or so.
Yeah. 2, it depends on how much you love them with food.
Yeah. But yeah, these Dutches, they are very calm, and they're actually adoptable right now at our shelter. So if you've been through orientation, or if you want to go through orientation and come see these bunnies.
Look at these 2
they're
bunnies.
Chocolate and Chip.
Would you not want these poor babies in your house?
Yeah, no.
No, don't take them. I'm going to secretly take them home with me. Don't tell my husband I said that.
Well, I think we'll put Chocolate and Chip back, and then we have... we'll figure out how to do it.
Yeah. So we had a helper. I don't know where our helper went, so I'll just keep petting him until...
We can put them on the couch back there.
Yeah, let's... Okay. Actually, I could just run them back if, Michael, you want to keep talking.
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to run these back. I'll be right back.
Okay. Okay. These are 2 of our Rexes at the shelter. They were recently fixed. We had a litter of Rexes come in about a few months ago, I'd say. And they were all the cutest things ever. But we had to separate them because we knew they would get hormonal, and we didn't want more babies. We already have enough here. But now all of them are getting fixed. This is a pair, so they cannot be separated. They have to be adopted out as a pair like the last 2. So I can't remember their names on the top of my head, but I did see a question earlier about what to brush your Rexes with. And that's a hard question because Rexes have short fur. It's very short. You can, if you just blow on them, you can see their skin right away because of how short their fur is. But I know they do shed really bad sometimes. So something I suggest not to do is the Furminator. Do not use the Furminator on the Rexes because it could really damage their skin, and because their fur is so short and the Furminators are really sharp and more for long-haired bunnies. But Bobby right now is getting what she uses for Rexes. So, these guys are really cute. Rexes are very soft. Their fur is like velvet almost. These guys are small because they're still really young, and they could, they'll grow pretty big, probably 4 or 5 pounds. It's not terribly big, but I have seen some rather big Rexes. It just depends on what they're mixed with, or if they're purebred, and if they're a mini Rex or a standard Rex. It just depends. Let's see. We're getting a lot of questions. Let me scroll back up through here. Bunnies need to stay by me so they don't run off. So let's go back to the questions. Taylor McDonald says, do you guys have any experience with the marathon bonding technique? Do you know?
So it's kind of like speed dating.
Well, yeah, that's what we do here.
It is. You can tell them the process.
Yeah, so at our shelter, if someone brings their bunny in for bonding, we just try a bunch of bunnies out, unless the first few rabbits is really good. And it's just a way to see how your rabbit reacts with different rabbits, and just what happens with each interaction.
So back to the question on the Rex, there is a secret to use. If you take a lint roller to a Rex bunny, oh, I'm so sorry, and you go over the Rex bunny that's shedding, it completely takes out the chunks of fur. So easy. I don't know if you can see the hair, but
they're not shedding terribly.
No, they're not shedding enough. But if you take this and go over your Rex bunny, you will be so surprised how much hair comes off of it. The other thing I like to do, it's called the hair buster comb. And we do sell them at our shelter, but I'm not sure where we get them from.
We don't have any right now.
Pat ordered them, so they're
from
should be coming.
Small Pet Select or on Amazon. Okay. You can probably find them.
And I don't know if you can see it, but this will not hurt them. It has the little
rubber band.
Yeah. And it just takes out the chunks of fur, but honestly, you don't even need this. This is just my second option. My first option is this. It will take care of a Rex bunny that's shedding every time.
It doesn't take that long either with that lint roller.
Oh my gosh.
It takes everything off of them.
It is so quick. When I first seen it, there was so much hair staining on this. I couldn't believe how easy it was. So my tip, just use that.
And then let's see,
we have a lot of questions tonight.
Gloria says, do you find that adopting out pairs is easier or harder than a singles? It's a lot harder.
So we always say, and this is true on many levels, is a lot of people will end up saying they don't want a pair because they think it'll be harder, or they want their bunny to bond to them. But then they adopt it, and then they start thinking, I'm at work all day, my kids are at school all day, I have school activities, and now my bunny is by itself, quite a bit. So now they want to come in and do a bonding and find it a bond mate, which I stink at bonding bunnies. He's good, I stink. I always tell people, get the pairs. If you even think you might want a second bunny, just skip all of the bonding and get a pair of bunnies. It's so much easier.
It's a lot easier, and it's also really good for shelters like ours because we have pairs that need to be adopted, but they're looked over a lot. So just go to the pairs first.
And people will say, well, I just want it to love me. Well, you have twice the love. They're both going to love you, and they're both going to do the same thing as if it was a single bunny. So
yeah, either if it's a single or a bonded pair, you have to work with them to grow that bond. So it's not just going to happen.
So it is difficult, but we always try to throw that out there. I do want to just give a shout out to Gloria. She has just opened her own bunny rescue in Springfield, Missouri, and we are going to be working with her. And she's going to start taking bunnies that are dumped down in the Springfield, Missouri area. I'm also going to send her adoptions if they are in that area. Instead of coming all the way to us, I'm going to send them to Gloria. So I'd like you all to welcome Gloria and thank you to her for opening up a bunny rescue and helping our cause.
Yeah, thank you, Gloria. It's very, very much appreciated. Let's see, we have more questions. So the questions are, what makes rabbits inseparable and why can't they be adopted separately? So specifically for this pair, these bunnies have been together probably since they were born. And once they're fixed, and if they get through that together, they're not going to want to separate. They can get very upset and sad, especially if they're a pair at our shelter, because that is all they know for their most of their lives. And
it's just like a marriage.
Yeah.
It's for life. When they bond, it's a bond, and they're bonded for life. If we have two bunnies that are bonded, we do not separate them.
Unless they start fighting, which rarely happens if they are bonded.
They are bonded for life. We don't separate them. If we have a batch of babies, we kind of tend to look to see if there's two that kind of are sitting by each other more. If there's a oddball out, then we'll separate them, like that. But we do not separate bonded pair.
No, we do not.
And two, they'll grieve. They love each other. If they don't have each other for that support and love, they actually will grieve, and it's terrible.
Yeah, these bunnies, you can see they're
very
cuddled
bonded.
up. Yeah, and it'd just be terrible to rip them up from each other. So that's why we just keep them together.
As you can see, this is such a cute bonded pair too. I wish you could feel them.
They are so soft, and they're...
Look how well behaved these guys are. Just look at them faces. Oh, look at that face. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm in love. Oh, yeah. Joy just reminded us that these bunnies were left in a box next to a dumpster.
With all their siblings. There were 6 of them.
Now, I hate to get on preaching about this kind of stuff, but there is places to take animals. You can take them somewhere. You don't have to just disregard them outside. I mean, my husband, where he works, people throw cats and dogs way out in the country, and they have nothing, no way to get help. And my husband found one that was so starving, it was terrible. We've also had bunnies come out of dumpsters still in their cage. They don't even have a chance to get away. And I also took a bunny in, which is really shocking, but a trash man pulled up to my house years ago and had a cage with this tiny little dwarf bunny in it that somebody set outside next to their trash for him to pick up. That, oh my gosh, that was horrible. I was so upset on that, and so was the trash man. He went to the lady's door, and of course she claimed, "It's not my bunny, I didn't do it. Someone must have set it out there." Bull crap. Yeah, so gosh, spread the word. There's places for them to go. There's people to help. Don't throw them out. Give them a chance.
Yeah, that's unfortunately a lot of our bunnies come from those situations.
A ton of bunnies we get every year, and they're thrown out.
I'd honestly say most of them are that way. They're just dumped outside, or we rescue them, or we're called to get them. It's really rough.
For years and years, when I first started, that was my main thing that I did, was go out and rescue. And I can tell you so many stories on going to these rescues. It's so bad. And the places that they've been left starving, You know, one I went to try to go look for, and a dog had already gotten it. And that's what ills me when I think about people throwing them out, is all the dangers that are going to hurt them out there. And I always felt bad because I didn't get to that bunny in time. And that's why I will never leave an animal outdoors. If it needs rescue, I'm there to get it.
Yeah, especially rabbits. There are a lot of misconceptions about rabbits. And
Yeah, poor babies. Okay, what's that next one?
so that's Taylor. I actually worked with her on Saturday with her bonding with Franny. It's not easy at first. She was attacking almost every boy, but then we did bring out Hondell, and they did great. They snuggled for an hour, and I'm very glad about that. Thank you for watching and commenting, Taylor. I think we have another question.
We have several tonight.
Yeah.
When bonding.
So it just depends. For our shelter, a lot of our bonds are just sibling bonds or mother-daughter, mother-son, family bonds, really. So they're kind of just together from when they come in, and they don't want to separate.
So yeah. So I think how you successfully bonded some of your bunnies.
Yeah. So the best thing to know is when you can leave them in the cage together without them fighting for a long period of time. You need like a day open just to watch them and sit with them.
Not in a crate.
No.
You need them in a
Playpen, or if they're free roam, just.
And if they can successfully make it through the day without fighting and they're together, then, you know, it's safe to say, you know, that they're pretty much bonded. You still should check on them and make sure, but if they can get through a whole day like that, yeah.
Yeah, and then it's the person's asking about mounting. So that's a hard one because when they're young and unfixed, mounting is a hormonal thing, but then it turns into more of a dominance thing. Even one of my pairs, they still hump each other occasionally, and it's usually just over food or something. It's not serious unless they start a fight. That's when it should be broken apart.
Yeah, I know a lot of people do different, to where I let them mount for just a few seconds. And then I stop it after that because it usually causes fights for me. And we both have different techniques, as you can see. But yeah, I normally stop it.
Do we ever bond stranger bunnies, like not from the same litter?
Yes.
Yes, we have a pair right over here, Buffon and Raphael. They're going to be our education bunnies. They're not from the same litter at all. They just happen to be very fluffy, and they get along well together. Yeah. So it just depends on the situation. Most of them are from the same litter or family because that's just how we get them. Mm-hmm. But if there's a different situation, then
like that, or if we know that two bunnies are sanctuary bunnies, and one might have a goopy eye that needs a partner to clean it for him, we might try to bond bunnies like that together also.
How hard is it to bond a trio? Or how is it to bond a trio? It depends. It's really not the easiest usually. The biggest risk with that is if you introduce a third bunny to an already bonded pair, is that bond breaking up, and then you have 3 separate rabbits, which is not fun. So it's very hard to do that.
We do have several people that do have trio bonds. So if you're interested in it, we can always hook you up with those people, and you're more than welcome to talk with them. You can just let us know in the comments, and we'll make sure you get with one of them, and they can tell you how the process went. Yeah, I think we're running out of time, and we will still get to all your questions. Michael will go back and answer all your questions, but we have to let you go because our next show is getting ready to start. So I want to thank Michael for having me on his show today. I had fun. Thank you all for watching.
Yeah, thank you guys. It means a lot to come and watch us and ask all of your questions. It's really appreciated.
I just am grateful they're showing you all this love.
Yeah.
And I think Michael's going to finish doing some more of this showing bunnies next week. So
Yes. Yeah, I will.
make sure you tune in next Tuesday at 5:30.
Thank you.